Call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bellato.
Here.
Bellato here. Vieta.
Here.
Vieta here. Rita.
Here.
Rita here. Donahue. Here. Donahue here. Holly. Here. Holly here. Fairwell.
Here.
Fairwell here. Osling.
Here.
Osling here. Thompson.
Here.
Thompson here. Carr.
Here.
Carr here. Pittman.
Here.
Pittman here. Slattery.
Here.
Slattery here. Poulos. Here. Poulos here. Johnson.
Here.
Johnson here. Fausto. Fausto absent. 13 present.
Thank you very much. Before we start, everybody check their phones, please, and either turn them off. The other thing for the elected officials, remember, not that you've been doing it, but just as a reminder, any texting can be foilable, so be aware of that. All right. Need a motion to approve City Council minutes for the date of June the 13th, 2017. I need a motion. Motion by Alderman Poulos. Do I have a second? By Alderman Thompson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Or do you want a roll call? That's fine, okay. Public comment?
Good evening. You are all welcomed as observers to tonight's meeting. You are politely reminded the purpose of the meeting is for the deliberation between the mayor and the city council regarding city governance and business. If you intend to speak, please, once recognized by the chair, approach the podium, announce your name and address. Please be further advised that comments may be limited to 3 minutes or forwarded to the appropriate city personnel for individual follow-up.
Thank you very much. Anyone? Go ahead, sir. Just need your name and address.
Hi. You may remember me from last week. My name is Mike Henry. I'm the general manager with the Public Services. Our address is 13701 South Costner Avenue in Crestwood, Illinois. I'm sure you're all aware that the municipal committee voted to go with another service company, which we're very disappointed. And also we don't agree that it's the best decision for the city, especially around the number of carts that will be delivered to the residents. However, tonight, I want to just come before you, the mayor and the aldermen and the residents, and just say thank you for the past 20 years of allowing Republic Services to be your service provider. We are very grateful to the city, and we look forward to the opportunity to service you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I just need your name and address, please.
Pat DeSavero, 12808 Elm Street.
Yes, sir.
I've lived here my whole life, and I've seen the ups and downs of this community. And I really believe right now this community is on a trajectory up. A lot of great things happening in this town. A lot of great families moving into this town. A lot of great people who moved out of this town, realized the error of their ways, and now are coming back to Blue Island. A lot of good things happening. And I believe a lot of that has to do with our deputy of planning, Jason Berry. He's had a hand in everything that's going on in this town in a positive direction. I mean, the guy has a home here, his wife works here, he's all in, he's passionate about this town, embraces its past, its present, and is looking out for the future of this town. And for some other town to swoop in and take him, I just want to know that this administration did everything in its power to retain an asset like Jason Berry. Because, I'm all in this town. I have a mortgage, and I'm happy with everything that's been going on. Not completely happy, but generally happy. There's always something going on in this town. If people say there's nothing to do in Blue Island, they're not looking. And he's been involved in every one of those things, including the bridges opening. So, as an expert in his craft, and someone who lives in this community, I don't know what other boxes that need to be checked off for us to say, hey, you're valuable, we don't want to lose you. I just want to be assured that we did make the effort to retain this guy. Because I hate to see someone hired, again from a different community, that's gonna punch in 9 to 5, go back out to their community, instead of someone who works long hours, gets his elbows dirty, talks to people, is a part of this community, is a fabric of this community. I mean, that's a huge, huge asset. Not someone that's just coming here, clocking in and out, and going back and spending their money in Frankfurt, Mokina, Orland, Tinley, wherever, the city of Chicago. So, can we hire an expert? Possibly. Can we hire someone from Blue Island who's not an expert? Perhaps. But someone who lives in Blue Island, who loves this town, who's in every club and organization that I know of, Historical Society, and lives in this town with his wife, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to find someone that valuable. So, was it something that we tried to retain this guy?
I totally agree with your position. I offered him a higher position, higher pay, and he said that he had been working on this quite some time before, and that was part of his dream to go there. So I try to retain him. The offer's still open, and it's up to him. I guess he's made his decision, but again, the offer's still there.
I mean, him being a deputy, is there a hire, is there someone that's a director?
Yeah.
So
I offered him the director's position.
Okay, so there is another
yeah.
higher position?
Yes.
Okay, like I said, I care about this town, I love it. I just hate to see people who are as passionate about this town and do a great, great job at their job as Jason lead, you know, so I hope you guys put ahead your political favors and votes and whatever else, and we hire a person we're not gonna find someone as good, but hopefully find someone nearly as good as Jason Barrett.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Name and address.
Hi, I'm Greg Lockow. I live at 12915 Elm Street. And I just want to talk again about, there's, I believe, going to be a vote tonight about the Cook County minimum wage and sick pay. And what they want to do is add dollars on top of what the state already charges. So the two things to remember are, this would make a lot of extra expense for current businesses. We have some of the owners right here. And secondly, it would make Blue Island less competitive for attracting new businesses. And the problem is that they would look at all the communities they could locate in, and they might say, well, we'll go to Alsip a mile away because we don't have those costs. So we are simply urging you to vote to opt out, and we'll just stick with what the state mandates. So that's what I would like to say.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Let me
much.
add this, since you're here. As of maybe last week, the municipalities that have opted out that are closest to you, I marked the ones that are closest to us: Alsip, Chicago Ridge, Crestwood, Meriden Park. This was as of last week. So to get an idea.
And there were several dozen others
Yes.
prior to
Oh, yes.
that.
Oh, yeah. I have a whole other list, but as of for last week, that's who we had opted out. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? If not, let me move on. Report of city officials, presentations, resolutions. Oh. Name and address, please.
Carol DePace Green, 2731 Orchard Street, Blue Island, Illinois. I read the agenda for today and the ordinances. I also had my doorbell rang, got the email regarding Lakeshore Waste, got the emails regarding appointments, got the emails regarding crimes, got the emails regarding all the things that are currently taking place. And most specifically, when I saw the information posted online regarding Lakeshore, before there was a city council vote and approved contract, somebody's pulling the trigger here, and in some circles, it's called, that kind of stuff is called fraud, because there is no current Lakeshore waste contract that has been signed and executed by the city council or the mayor. It's okay if you want to continue with the backroom deals. Eventually, it will catch up to you. It may take a long time, and it may not take as long as you think. Thank you.
Thank you much. Anyone else? Let me move on. Report of city officials, presentations, resolutions under my business. Again, regarding Mr. Jason Berry. Just let me add this. I want to thank him for his service. There's a presentation. We received a certificate, National Historic 50 Years of Preservation Act, where it recognizes Blue Island being involved since August 1st, 1990 to the present. Again, this is very, very part of what Jason and everything else that he's volunteered for the city of Blue Island. In fact, in speaking to him, the last time I spoke to him just a couple days ago, specifically regarding his position, he has said he still wants to be highly involved in the city of Blue Island on different activities. So I will keep that and hold him to that. But again, the slogan that we adopted, think outside the loop, different buildings, the Blue Island Business District, the ideas, the planning. Again, we will look for an individual with the same kind of talents, credentials, or beyond of that, of what he has. But again, I want to thank him for his service, not only to this administration, to the past administration, but to the whole residents of the city of Blue Island. What we had last week, moving on, we had the Blessing of the Waters. I saw Alderman Carr there, 100 and some people, very moving event this past Sunday. The Driving to Dixie, very successful event, 100 and some cars, 120 cars participated in that. The Vintage Baseball, again, very memorable, very unique event, and hopefully will continue in years to come. The Blue Cap fundraiser, pub crawl, very successful. And then we had the meeting here regarding the Metro electric line. Again, any bids?
No bids, Your Honor.
City clerk's business.
Yes, I need a motion to approve a request from Carlo Ariello to have a block party at 2035 Street and 2048 High Street on July 4th from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m.
And a motion by Alderman Vito, second by Alderman Donahue. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, I need a motion to approve a request from Vermont Street to have a block party on the corner of York Street at 23008 Hoyne Avenue on July 15th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Again, a motion by Alderman Donahue, second by Alderman Vito. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes.
Thank you.
Next, I need a motion to approve an application for use of the Recreation Center grounds by Tracy Burke for the 3rd annual Old School Picnic on Saturday, July 1st from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
We have a motion by Alderman Dexter. Johnson, do I have a second? By Alderman Bellato. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, I need a motion to approve a facility usage application from Morelia Soccer Club every other Friday starting in June until October 6th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Motion by Alderman Osling, second by Alderman Bellato. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Abstain.
Abstaining. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 12 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank
And I
you.
do have one other request. The lady at the 3300 block of Edison that has had a block party every year, but she had a baby and just was not able to get this in time. I was wondering if we could get a consensus from the
That's fine.
council.
Do we have, is that okay?
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And we'll probably have that on for
That's fine.
ratification next one.
That's agreeable to everybody. All right, thank you.
That's all.
Anything else? Any city treasurer, no city treasurer, the city attorney? None? Committee reports, community development committee?
Yes, Your Honor. Community Development met on Tuesday, June 20th at 7:07 p.m. Present were Alderman Frosto, Hawley, Osling, Rita, and Thompson. Absent were Alderman Bellato and Johnson. Also present was Jason Berry, and actually, I forgot to put John Reed on there, Director Rita as well. He was there for part of it. Under public comment, Nick Healy presented his Eagle Scout project, which is to build planter boxes around the trees in the parkway outside the Christ Memorial Church on York Street. The project looked great and everyone was fine with the design. Alderman Rita asked if he could do them all over town, and the committee wished him luck. Under new business, it was reported that the rec center will now start reporting to Municipal Services Committee. Mr. Berry reported the building department is a little slower revenue-wise than last year. There are some permits expected to be coming in soon. The Musket project has been delayed. However, that's expected to come through. Metro South Medical Center will be working on some improvements, and some permit requests are expected from that as well. Moraine Valley Community College is also planning big changes to the third floor of their building to make it usable for their nursing program. There were 2 permits released for Deer Point. There's a new person in there who's going to build the remaining homes there. All of the homes will be sprinkled in that area, so that's a positive direction going in that area. Mr. Berry reported total revenues for the month of November from the building department was $40,000 for November. For May was $40,754.57, bringing the total for the year to $246,633.26. Permits, inspections, and housing courts continue to trend higher over previous years. Mr. Berry reported that we should be getting a CDBG grant to demolish the Montel property at 119th and Vincennes. The cost to do all of the demolition is $1.3 million, but for Montel, we have a quote for $350,000. This grant should pay for that. There is interest from a broker, CBRE, in the property, which is a good sign. Since the city owns some of the property, we would have some control over development there. The no cash bid process is done, and the city now owns additional properties around town, including the old Blue Island Nursing Home, the property next to Cat's Cars that has a home on it that will be demolished fairly quickly, the old Monarch Roofing building, and property on Broadway that could possibly be additional city parking. The Western Avenue Bridge project is on hold due to working on an agreement with MWRD. The state budget problems will delay it further, as well as stopping work on Broadway if an agreement's not done by this week. A proposed sign variation for Blue Island Seafood was presented. The sign does seem to fit the scale of the building and the design of the other signs in the strip. It was moved by Alderman Osling to approve and seconded by Alderman Rita. All were in favor, and the motion passed. Mr. Berry presented a proposal for subdividing the properties at Thornton's site. The Plan Commission has reviewed it and recommends it. The thought is that it will help spur on economic development of the site. It was moved by Alderman Rita and seconded by Alderman Frausto to send to the City Attorney and Judiciary Committee to write up the ordinances to subdivide the property. Mr. Berry announced that he had taken the new position with Lamont. All aldermen expressed their thanks and disappointment in Mr. Berry's leaving, but wished him well in his new endeavor. New designs for gateways in the Business Development District following the guidelines given to Hitchcock from IDOT were looked at. Discussion about which design change was preferred. Jason will communicate with Hitchcock and get another round of designs. Discussion about a permanent meeting day and time was had. It was agreed the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. There being no further business, it was moved by Alderman Osling and seconded by Alderman Thompson to adjourn. All were in favor. The meeting was adjourned at 8:51 p.m. The next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July 6th at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers.
Thank you very much. Finance Committee? One question, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Alderman Hawley, the lots that's in Deer Point, is that the responsibility of the developers to keep cut?
To keep the grass cut?
Yes, sir.
I would assume yes.
In those vacant lots, because what happened is it's grown very tall and they got like coyotes and foxes and things over there.
Okay.
It's more or less of a safety issue. And if they could cut back away from the houses, you know, I know they're one big field, it's pretty large, but they can cut, you know, enough back for those people at those homes to, you know, feel safe.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Finance Committee?
Finance meeting called to order June 19, 2017 at 7 p.m. Members present: Alderman Frosto, Alderman Hawley, Alderman Farnwell, Alderman Thompson, Alderman Vieira, and Alderman Oslin. Also present: Treasurer Bellato, Finance Director Lori Brown, and resident Bob Van Public comments. Bob Van asked about the status of the work on the Western Avenue Bridge. I need a motion for approval of accounts payable. There's 4 of them that were paid prior to finance meetings. The first one is May 3rd, 2017, in the amount of $225,428.60. The second one is May 17th, in the amount of $250,156.79. The third one was June 7th, in the amount of $232,201.36. And the last one is June 21st, in the amount of $479,298.07. I need that in, I'm making that in a motion.
Got a motion, do we have a second by Alderman Vieira? Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieira.
Aye.
Vieira, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 15 ayes.
Thank you.
The next is a motion to approve payroll. Again, these were paid prior to finance meeting. The first one is May 5th, 2017, in the amount of $350,121.54. The second one was May 19th, in the amount of $370,287.43. June 2nd, 2017, in the amount of $352,120.36. And the final one is June 16th, 2017, in the amount of $369,745.06.
Do you have a motion?
Yes.
You have a motion, you have a second by Alderman Vieira. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieira.
Aye.
Vieira, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye, sorry.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes.
Thank you very much.
Under new business, we have an ordinance amending Title 11, Business Regulation, Chapter 110, General License Provision of the City of Blue Island, County of Cook, State of Illinois. This ordinance will allow the City of Blue Island to opt out of raising the minimum wage increase. We had a motion by Alderman Hawley, second by Alderman Vieira. Motion carried. I need to make a motion to City Council.
We have a motion, do we have a second by Alderman Vieira? Any questions? Go ahead, Alderman.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Chairman, what was the basis for the Finance Committee's recommendation to opt out of the minimum wage increase and the paid earned sick time?
I think most of the members thought it was best for the City of Blue Island.
Why, though? Just curious
Well,
why.
you'd have to ask them individually. We all came to the same consensus.
Okay, thank you. Something else.
Go ahead.
I want to thank Greg Lockout. I know he's been working real hard on this. He sent a lot of informative information that I might not agree with. So I have some things I wanted to read that kind of on the other side of the chamber and the business side of things. First, 87% of voters in Blue Island have supported a higher minimum wage. 93% in the 3rd Ward where I live have voted for a higher minimum wage. Second, workers can't live on the current minimum wage. And then last about this, a higher minimum wage improves local economies. And now on to paid sick leave. Same thing, Blue Island voters voted 87%, 93% in the 3rd Ward for paid sick leave. Paid sick days improve community, physical, and economic health. And I guess I kind of have a story with this. I know many members of the City Council know I can't hear out of my right ear right now from an illness I had last year. It stemmed from bronchitis, but at first they thought I might have a brain tumor that affected my hearing, so I had missed a lot of work. I had to go see a neurologist, I had to go see ear, nose, and throat doctors, I had to go see many doctors, and I had to take off a lot of time at work. Luckily, I have a job that pays me well, that gives me earned sick time. If not, I wouldn't have been paid. I probably would have got fired for having an illness that I contracted from something else. Unlike what Topic says, it's not a mental instability. I'm not insane. Thank you to the kind person who did write that. But this is serious. If I did not have paid sick days, I could have lost my job. I could have lost my house. I could have lost a lot of things. This is something very near and dear to my heart because I was affected by something I couldn't control, and I was lucky enough to have sick days built up that my employer gave me. And finally, paid sick days provide cost savings to employers and local governments. Again, I encourage us not to opt out. I believe our residents have spoke loud and clear. They want to be paid a fair living wage. They want to have earned sick time. So I stand with them. Again, I encourage us not to opt out of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me get Alderman Hall and then Alderman Vester and then Alderman Farnell. Go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, okay. Alderman Farnell, that's Hannah. I support opting out only because I want the small businesses to be able to survive in town. I know there's some issues. None of the small businesses in town are surviving. The owners are making tons of money while the workers are not. They're barely hanging on by a thread. I do think it might affect some possible new businesses coming into town if they're looking at Blue Island when all of the communities around us have opted out. I was looking on the map today, I believe Cal Park has opted out, as well as Crestwood, also, and further west, Palos Park, Palos Heights. I just, if they're going to look for a place to put a business, I think it would not serve us well. And I do know that a lot of small businesses in town are just hanging on by a thread, and I do know that this will affect it. If they are paying minimum wage, the amount that's going up is $1.75 an hour, and that's a fairly large hit for the mom and pop businesses in town. So that's what I want to say. I do hope that the businesses that are doing well in town and can afford it will decide on their own to make their own minimum wage $10 and also offer sick pay. I work for a company that also allows that, that does do that on our own. I know the city with Alderman Rita's encouragement a couple of years ago said that the city would raise their minimum wage to $10. So we have done that, but I do know that not every business can afford that.
Thank you. Alderman Johnson?
Yes, Mayor. I'm a union person. I'm a union man. My family is union. And just unfortunately, I couldn't work in the city of Blue Island. I think that more of us need to shop Blue Island to help these small businesses out, to perform. That's the only way we're going to grow, is that our dollars continue to circulate through the city. I agree to opt out because I was a small business owner here in Blue Island. I had a restaurant. It's hard. It's very hard. And I understand these small businesses. I try to shop Blue Island myself as much as I can. And I love this city. And if the bigger companies come in, they can carry the weight, and let them carry their weight.
Thank you.
That's what I have.
Alderman Thurl?
I'd just like to acknowledge that this is a difficult vote for me, and I actually agree with just about everything that Alderman Donahue just said. I voted in favor of opting out in the committee, and I will vote in favor of tonight because I do understand that most of our businesses in town do want us to opt out. I do feel I have to represent, the constituents in this case. I would also echo what Alderman Hawley said. I hope the businesses will look at the fact that our big 800-pound gorilla neighbors to the north of us, Chicago, is not opting out, and so they're going to get the good workers with better pay. And you might want to think about that as you're looking at your pay scales here, because in order to compete, you need good workers. You need to pay them well. Nevertheless, I'm going to vote in favor of it with some reluctance.
Alderman Poulos and then Alderman Carr.
A real simple statement. This should be a statewide thing. This should never have been a Cook County and consideration. It's a terrible position to put us in, because I really want a healthy minimum wage, but I also am realistic. And I just feel terrible about having to make, this is a difficult decision. A lot of us were talking before, and we didn't even know how we're going to vote on this, because we're pro and con. There's pros and cons to this that are very valid in both cases. The state of Illinois should have done this, not Cook County.
Thank you.
That's my opinion.
Alderman Carr?
Yeah, when I started working back in 1970, the minimum wage was $1.45. Minimum wage now is $8.45. That's 5.8 times higher. If we look at living expenses, however, the average price of a home in 1970 was, believe it or not, $23,000. Times 5.8 would be $137,000. But the actual average price of a home today is $215,000. The average price of a new car in 1970 was $3,450. 5.8 times that would be $20,000, but the actual average price of a new car today is $33,500. I have a whole list of other stuff. There is nothing that falls below the rate of inflation except for wages. And to me, now I was a business owner in Blue Island, and I saw the slow deterioration of my business. I didn't understand what was happening, but now I do. The cost of essentials of life in American society have far outstripped the minimum wage. People don't have discretionary income to visit restaurants, visit gift shops, buy extra clothing, things like that. They're worried about housing, automobiles, gas for their cars, food for their table. So it's no wonder that a lot of businesses are failing. I'd also like to point out that during the time I was in business, we were hit with a lot of increased expenses. Cook County raised the commercial property tax by 30%. And it's true some businesses closed, but most of us adjusted somehow to meet that extra expense. I don't know if anybody remembers the tomato shortage, but there was a tomato shortage one year. I'm sure the restaurant owners remember that. And no one said that they weren't going to serve tomatoes. They just started charging extra for things that had tomatoes in them, or gave their customers the option. So I do support the Cook County minimum wage law. And another thing I found that was very scary is I got my new home assessment in the mail today, and I realized that the cost of my home now is such that my husband and myself could not afford to repurchase it with the money that we're making today. It's a frightening thought. So I do support the Cook County minimum wage, and I would urge other people to support it also.
Thank you. Alderman Thompson?
Well, in the Finance Committee meeting, I did vote for opting out. But since that time, I have talked with some of my constituents. And in the Fifth Ward, there are no rich people. And many of them are making minimum wage. I feel in the country that we live in today, a person should have a livable wage. I think it's a sin that there are people who will not be able to have a livable wage in the United States of America. It's a shame.
Thank you. Alderman Bottom?
Just like other aldermen in the room, it's a very hard decision for myself. My family owned many different family-owned businesses through the years, and Also, I'm a union person at the same time, and so I feel both sides. Very hard decision. But I want to clarify before I take the vote that it's going to might be confusing. We're voting aye to opt out. If you vote no, it's not to opt out. So I just want the fellow alderman to clarify that. If you vote aye, you're voting to opt out. So someone asked me that earlier. I just wanted to clarify that. But just my personal perspective, until it becomes a statewide issue, like Alderman Pulo says, Cook County with the pop tax, I'm just going to start buying my pop somewhere else. The first instinct you have, right? I'm just going to go somewhere else. That can happen in some ways here, right? So you have a mom and pop business that has small employee workforce. I can just move to the neighboring town that opted out. And until it becomes a statewide agenda to raise the state minimum wage, and even then, we're so close to Indiana, that still might affect us, but it's still better to bear that brunt where everybody's in the same pool, where instead I can just move my tavern or liquor store or restaurant next door to where I don't have to worry about paying the difference. That little bit of difference might be a few days off more a year. It might be a full tank of gas and not worrying about refilling it. That few days, a few dollars here and there might make a difference to that owner. So I'm going to vote in favor of opting out. So I'll end with that.
Any other alderman comments? If not,
I just want to remind people too, even in my ward alone, Modern Drop Forge, who gave people here in the city of Blue Island jobs, they moved to Indiana for certain reasons and things. That took away a lot of jobs, Parco Foods. So, you know, like I said, I struggled as a owner, a restaurant owner myself, and I wish I could pay people a great wage. But I had to do most of the heavy lifting myself.
We have a motion, we have a second. We have the comments. Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
No.
Donahue, no. Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
No.
Thompson, no. Carr.
No.
Carr, no. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Reluctant aye.
Poulos, reluctant, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 10 ayes and 3 noes.
Thank you very much.
Under old business, the 2017 crack seal program bids were received May 15, 2017. Denver Incorporated, $22,795. SKC Construction, $75,790. A motion by Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Frosto, to accept the low bid of $22,795 by Denver Incorporated. Motion carried. I make a motion to the City Council.
We have a motion, second by Alderman Fairwell. Comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Chairman, what fund is this coming out of? Is this GRF or is this TIF fund? I'm just curious.
This is a TIF-funded project.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
No further business. Motion to adjourn at 7:30 by Alderman Hawley, second by Alderman Frosto. Motion carried. The next Finance Committee meeting will be Wednesday, tomorrow, June 28th, 7 p.m. East Annex. This is because of the 4th of July. But going forward, the Finance Committee will meet on the first and the third Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Public Health and Safety Committee?
Yes, Your Honor. Minutes for the meeting held June the 20th. Present were Director John Rita, Deputy Chief Michael Cornell, Alderman George Poulos, Alderman Ken Pittman, Alderman Kevin Donahue, and myself. Absent were Chief James Clinker, Commander Kevin Sisk, and Alderman Dexter Johnson. Citizen Sarah Brown was also in attendance as an observer. The meeting was called to order at 6:02. There was an approval to approve a motion to approve the minutes of the April 11th meeting by Alderman Poulos, second by Alderman Pittman. Motion carried. There were no citizens' concerns. Under the fire department had 328 calls in May, 220 were EMS calls. They responded to 14 general fire alarms and 18 minor fire alarms. They responded to 43 auto aid calls, most were from Calumet Park. They had 25 calls to man the station. They received 8 mutual aid response calls. 1 was a fire, 6 were ambulance, and 1 was for our boat. Medical reimbursement services for May was $39,406.43. Fire recovery paid $495 in May. During the month of May, I'm sorry, the minutes say March, but it's May. During the month of May, the fire department was called out on 1 brush fire box alarm, 1 structure fire in Calumet Park, 1 train versus car accident, and 1 water rescue in Alsip. Under general, the annual stretcher inspection and repairs were completed. The fire department attended Whittier School Career Day. Lieutenant Olson stepped down as fire prevention officer. And fire department assisted with Calumet Park Fire Chief Batistella's funeral. Under maintenance, truck 2104 is still at Fire Service Incorporated for scheduled service. And the repair estimate for engine 2123 is $21,721.21. Under fire prevention inspectors completed 24 annual inspections, 1 fire alarm inspection, 5 plan reviews. The training division completed 433.4 hours of training for the month of May. Lieutenant Zielinski attended a HIPAA seminar, and the fire department toured the AT&T building on Union Street. They're still waiting for all the grants that have been applied for. There's been no word on them. There was a motion by Alderman Pittman, second by Alderman Poulos, to award a plaque of recognition to Lamont Dembry for his heroic actions at the fire next door to the Blue Kangaroo laundromat. Under police department, officers have saved 3 people since the police department started the Narcan program in April. A check was received in the amount of $15,476.31 through a private grant in May to purchase 7 AEDs. The check was deposited in the city's grant account and is awaiting for the finance committee to convene to purchase the life-saving equipment. In March, the police department answered 2,558 calls for service, including 341 business premise checks, 65 of which were liquor establishment checks. Under stats and cases of interest, there was 1 armed robbery, 3 residential burglaries, and 273 traffic stops. Total money collected for the month of May was $18,293.95. They patrolled 15,108 miles. There were 19 felony arrests and 34 misdemeanor arrests. Under calls of interest, on May the 25th, Officer Strezzo received a call of 2 suspicious people walking in the 12800 block of Honoré. The officer observed the interior lights on inside the vehicle as he approached the area. Other vehicles were discovered to have been entered while officers were combing the area. Officers stopped 3 people that fit the description a few blocks away from the call. Officers found tools and personal items within a close proximity of the 3 people stopped. The subjects were taken into custody for investigation. All 3 offenders were interviewed, and each was charged with 3 counts of burglary to a motor vehicle. It should be noted that the offenders were going into unlocked vehicles, one of which was a van that contained power tools. Deputy Chief urges people to please remember to lock your cars. Under liquor establishment calls, there were 3 fight calls for the month of May. Under training, Officers Cirillo and Stamer attended a 40-hour field training officer school. Officer McSweeney attended a 40-hour evidence technician school. Officers Padron and Stamer attended CERT training. And Officer Rose attended a class on mental preparation for winning. Under officer highlights, the midnight shift, working under the guidance of Sergeant Connors, arrested the 3 individuals for multiple burglaries to vehicles as stated above. The Cooperation between Sergeant Connors and the Detective Division made charging these individuals with burglary possible. Deputy Chief Cornell commended our officers on how professional and hardworking they are. Under miscellaneous, the police department is working with FIEMA to make the Blue Island fireworks display a safe family event. The police department assisted with the dragon boat races, and the police department is looking to purchase 4 squad cars, complete with in-car computers and cameras in the next 2 months. Under events, the Blue Island fireworks display will be held July 3rd. The FOP golf outing is July 21st. Just a plug for the FOP, whole sponsorships, foursomes, and raffle tickets are still available. And National Night Out will be August the 1st. Director John Rita explained the need for an additional full-time officer. Motion by Alderman Poulos and second by Alderman Donahue. Motion carried. This recommendation will be forwarded to the Finance Committee for approval. Under appointment of commanders, Director John Rita recommended by authority of City Ordinance 33.041 the reappointment of Commander Sisk and the appointment of Detective Slattery to Commander. Commander Sisk will be reappointed and assigned to the 911 Center. Detective Slattery will be appointed to Commander and assigned to Police Operations. Both positions would report directly to the Deputy Chief. Both terms will expire December 31st, 2017. These appointments will not affect the city budget. There was a motion by Alderman Poulos, second by Alderman Pittman. All in favor, motion carried. Director John Rita explained the need for 4 new squad cars. There was a motion by Alderman Poulos to approve the purchase of the new vehicles, second by Alderman Donahue. All in favor, motion carried. This recommendation will be forwarded to the Finance Committee. Under the 911 Center, the 911 Center received 7,707 calls in the month of May. Under Health and Sanitation, in the month of May, 25 health and sanitation inspections were done. The only new information is that Vinny's Restaurant has closed and Dos Brothers Restaurant is supposed to close on June the 3rd. McDonald's is preparing to reopen as soon as the remodeling is complete. There was a discussion about the role of elected officials as it relates to public safety. In light of our recent election and the addition of a new council member, Public Health and Safety Director John Rita wishes to remind and instruct the elected officials that ride-alongs with the police or fire department are only allowed with prior approval from Deputy Chief Cornell or Chief Jim Klinker. Also, if you happen upon or are informed of an active emergency situation and feel the need to visit the site, please stay outside the emergency perimeter set up by the fire or police departments. Failure to do so may jeopardize the safety of the first responders, the victims, yourself, evidence, and the community at large. To thank people in advance for abiding by these rules. Under resolutions, information regarding these resolutions was given to the City Council in a presentation on April 25th. Was a resolution authorizing execution of intergovernmental agreement by and between the City of Blue Island and the Cook County Sheriff for 911 dispatch services. Motion to approve by Alderman Donahue, second by Alderman Pittman. All in favor, motion carried. Need to put this in the form of a motion.
A motion, second by Alderman Mulatto. Any questions? Any questions? None? Roll call. Go ahead.
I'd like to say this resolution for 911, unless Alderman Carr wants to fill in the public at large, this is a huge savings for the city.
Absolutely.
I know you know the details. So.
Well, just a little bit of background. As of January 2018, we would be required by the state to upgrade our equipment, which would cost us $1.8 million for the upgrade. We would save that money by moving our dispatch to the Cook County Dispatch Center. And they have also guaranteed all of our dispatch people jobs if they need them, so we would not be leaving anyone unemployed.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mulatto.
Aye.
Mulatto, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
There was a second resolution, but I'd like to make a motion to table that and bring it back at the next city council meeting.
So motion to table, second by Alderman Donahue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Anything else?
There were no aldermen's concerns. There was a motion to adjourn by Alderman Pulis, second by Alderman Donahue. All in favor, motion carried. Meeting was adjourned at 7:05. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, July 11th at 6 o'clock in the East Annex.
Thank you very much. Municipal Services Committee, Alderman Vina.
The meeting was called to order Monday, June 19th, 2017 at 6:05 p.m. in the East Annex City Hall, 2434 Vermont Street, Blue Island, Illinois. Proper public notice given. Roll call. Alderman Bellato, Carr, Donahue, and Slattery present. Also present were Public Safety Director John Rita Jr., Finance Administrator Ray Brown, Municipal Services Jim Postal, Assistant General Counsel Andrea Temple, Treasurer Carmen Bellato, Alderman Osling, Alderman Vieira, Julianne Donahue, Sarah Brown, Mike Henry from Republic Services, Jim Costello, Republic Services, Anthony DeLuca, Republic Services, Bill Kenny, Lakeshore, Josh Connell, Lakeshore. Public comment, none. Sanitation bids and contract. The city had 4 companies bid on a 5-year contract. The process was started months ago with Chair Alderman Donahue, who did a great job in communicating to all the aldermen and helping put the bid together. All bids included an annual 3% increase each year, except for waste management at 3.5%. For Public Services and Lakeshore Recycling System both attended the meeting. Each spoke for at least 20 minutes on behalf of their company. Mike Henry from Republic Services noted the city and Republic had worked together for over 20 years. He offered a lower bid at that time, but it was still approximately $100,000 higher, which was not considered due to the integrity of the process for the RFP. The committee all agreed we needed to stick to the process so that it did not affect future RFPs. Lakeshore expressed their eagerness to work with the city. At the end, the numbers spoke for themselves. Lakeshore, monthly cost per year was $108,377.58. Republic was $121,966.23. Waste Management, $157,588.09, and Homewood, $149,314.33. The annual cost per year was $1,300,531 for Lakeshore, $1,463,594.80 for Republic. Waste Management is $1,890,997.09 for Waste Management, and Homewood was $1,791,772. Lakeshore Recycling Systems is $13,588 less per month from Republic Services, $49,205 less than Waste Management, $40,936 less than Homewood Disposal. In a yearly comparison, Lakeshore is $163,063.80 less than Republic, and $590,466 less than Waste Management, $491,241 less than Homewood. Lakeshore was the lowest considering costs for services. The CPA firm can attest to the numbers. A motion made by Kevin Donahue to go into executive session at 7:25 p.m. Second by Alderman Slattery. Voice vote, all in favor to go into executive session for discussion on the sanitation contract. Motion carried. Motion made by Alderman Donahue to come out of executive session at 7:50, and second by Alderman Bellato. Voice vote, all in favor to come out of executive session for a vote on the contract. Motion carried. Motion to approve a resolution approving the sanitation contract to Lakeshore Recycling, made by Alderman Slattery, second by Alderman Carr. Alderman Donahue requested an individual vote. Ayes were Carr, Bellato, Slattery. Donahue was no. The motion carried with 3 votes with $163,000 yearly savings. Lakeshore's rollout plan is to begin delivery of the new 95 recycling totes on June 26th, completed by July 1st. Recycling will continue to be every other week. Lakeshore will send a mailing in both English and Spanish. Please note, Republic will begin pickup of their totes the week of June 26th. Department updates, Public Works discussion report, Golf Course discussion report, Water Department discussion report, New Business Municipal Services Committee will meet the fourth Tuesday of the month in East Annex at 6 p.m. Adjournment, motion made at 8:10 by Alderman Slattery, second by Alderman Bellato. Voice vote, all in favor. The next municipal committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, July 25th at 6 p.m. in the East Annex. We have a resolution authorizing execution of agreement with Lakeshore Recycling Systems for municipal residential waste and recycling services in the city of Blue Island.
Make that formal motion. Motions, do I have a second by Alderman Bellato? Any questions? Alderman, go ahead.
Yes, question, Alderman Reader. It's a 3% increase each year for the company?
Correct.
Are they charging us, or how much are they charging us per extra garbage can? I know we get one garbage can and one recycle per household. Is there a charge per, if I wanted an extra garbage can?
No. Well, the city has a charge.
And how much would that be?
I believe it's $15.
So if we have, per se, 4,000 to 5,000 extra garbage cans in the city per, what you said, $15? So would that exceed what we supposed to be recycling per resident?
No, the $15 is from the city, it's in your water bill.
Right.
If you need an extra can.
But what I'm saying is the resident would be charged that, right?
For your water bill. So it has nothing to do with the garbage contract.
Right, but if I ask for an extra cart,
That's the same as Republic charges now, it's the same.
It's the same, exactly the same, so like.
That nothing changed on that, as far as the contract.
Alderman Johnson, like for instance, right now, a single family home pays $26 or whatever with the bulk pickup added to it. And if you have a 2 flat, then I believe it's like 39 and change, and if you have a 3 flat, it's like 56. So it's charged to the resident if they need an additional can, yes.
okay, that was my question. Was any, in Director Reader, you said it's the same cost that Republic charges us already?
As what was in the contract with Republic, yes.
Okay, so.
No, I'm sorry, with the city, it's the same cost the city charges for if you would like an extra garbage can.
That's on our fees and schedule ordinance.
Okay, so.
And the $163,000 savings is earmarked for another project in Blue Island rather than having to raise the cost of the garbage.
Okay, so thank you for that clarification.
Okay.
The next question is that they're far away, right? So are they renting property here in Blue Island or somewhere close for the garbage trucks to be here?
Okay, there's Alderman Dodden who just clarified they're leasing them on the south side.
In the back of the yard?
A lot, yeah.
So as
in
long
the back of the yards, that's right, thank you.
So as long as they can continue to lease that, will they, like, say for instance, they don't want to lease it to them no more, is that an increase on the residents and,
No.
and us?
No, because the contract is for 5 years. And that's what we signed. It passes.
Alderman Bellato?
I'm not sure if Alderman Rito wants to, or Lakeshore's here, right? They want to talk about other towns. They're not a brand new company. They serve lots of towns around here, and they give a representative.
Is the representative from Lakeshore here?
I am, sir.
Could you step up to the podium?
Of course.
Just state your name.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bill Kenny.
You can bring the mic up so you're not.
Sure. Okay, good idea. My name is Bill Kenny. I am the municipal manager for Lakeshore Recycling Systems. Appreciate this opportunity to talk to everybody tonight, along with the residents of the great city of Blue Island. I'm here to take as many questions that people have. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. But just to expand on what Alderman Bellato mentioned, as far as where we're going to be pulling out of is, as you correctly noted, the back of the yards. We have a facility there. It's hardly temporary. We've invested lots and lots of money in this facility, so this is not sort of a quick, pop-up job. So we'll be there for a considerable amount of time. So we'll have fairly close access to the city. We'll be able to handle situations, emergency situations as they come up.
Alderman Poulos?
Are you expecting to, or are you, serving other Southside communities?
We do service the city. We have a contract, we're part of the Blue Card program with the city, the recycling program with the city.
Southside of the city?
Southside.
So it's the city of Chicago?
Yes, pardon me. As far as the south suburbs, this is our first foray into the south suburbs. We're extremely well equipped to handle this. We have the equipment, we have the assets, the trucks, the drivers know the area. We've been doing, since the bid was put out by the city, we've been doing due diligence on a regular basis as far as having route managers out here, surveying the area. So we expect no lag or drop off in terms of people's services.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the Alderman? Alderman Bellato? No. Go ahead. Defer to Alderman Reed. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Also, could you explain regarding the RFI chip?
RFID chip.
RFI, yeah.
Yes, correct. So every cart that we'll be providing residents for the city will have what's called an RFID chip already embedded in it. What this chip does is it just allows us to have greater asset management over that cart. I know in the past, historically, there's been situations where people's carts have walked away, whether they've been stolen or maybe there's a gale force wind that blows it all over. I know even in my neighborhood we see that. And with the carts, we'll always know where those carts are. We'll be able to retrieve those. We'll also be able to audit tips and whatnot for the city should they want us to provide more information as far as recycling rates. That helps sort of prune the process and increase those rates.
Alderman, go ahead.
Your recycling carts, that's what you call them, are they the same size as the garbage carts or smaller?
They're the same size, 95-gallon carts.
That's
No.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, they're not the same size as the present totes that we have, but the garbage and the recycling now will be the same
That's what I
size.
got from, thank you for.
Alderman Bellato?
Can you list some of your references you gave us to the committee members, other towns and cities you do service?
Sure. We service currently, we have about 20 municipal contracts, commercial and residential. We go as far north as City of Highwood, City of Highland Park. We go as far west as the City of Wheaton, which we started in earnest in October of last year. We have municipal contracts with Skokie for the recycling. We have municipal contracts with smaller towns too, Riverwoods, Bannockburn, Glen Cove, Winnetka. So we started more in the north, but we've migrated west. We bought a company in January out in West Chicago that gives us scale out in that area. So we've done a great job of growing that area. And again, this will be our first. We're very excited about the city of Blue Island because we have very eager to grow ourselves in this part of Chicagoland. As a company, we've started more municipal contracts, at least as many, but I think more than any other of our competitors over the last 5 or 6 years. We've lost none. That's not what I believe any of our competitors can say, and we respect our competitors. As a company, we are very customer-centric. I know we have to prove that. I know that the city and the city's residents have very high expectations, and we look forward to exceeding those expectations.
Alderman, go ahead. Alderman Johnson?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
With the percentage of solid recyclable waste, I know because we recycle a lot here, or because of the businesses, are there any, what do you give back to the city of Blue Island or the communities, more or less like maybe non-profits and things of that nature? How are you community connected in that manner?
That's a great question. We do a lot of community outreach. That starts, it could be anything from city events. We donate containers to, City of Highwood comes to mind. They have a pumpkin fest where we donate a few of our roll-off containers for collection of pumpkins, and we handle that and disposal at no cost. On top of that, we're very proactive in terms of working with schools and civic organizations. We handle CPS, so that's sort of given us some bona fides as far as knowing what kids need to hear and how to best educate them. We do events, City Hall, city-sponsored events that might be at a VFW, or it might be at a library, that sort of thing, just because, not to be long-winded, but specifically recycling is so fluid right now. and what was recyclable 5, 6, 7 years ago may not be recycled now, and things that weren't recycled back then may be recyclable now. So we're very proactive. We don't own landfills, so our blueprint is different than our respective competitors. We want to keep stuff out of the landfills, and that starts with communities and sort of educating them to make better decisions.
So is there a program for like e-waste?
That's sort of the 800-pound gorilla, e-waste. We don't have a program with the city. We will handle it. We do have, we can pick it up. There's usually a charge for that. We encourage cities to work with organizations that might be in the area to come up with solutions to that, but we'll be a part of that. We'll work with the city to come up with best ways to handle that. So that is a very...
Let's make one more suggestion.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Because there's a fluidity in terms of what is and what is not recyclable, I don't think anybody here knows exactly what is. Could you please inform us, from the city, from the citizens, about what's recycled in?
Sure, I'll start with sort of the big ticket items as far as what is not recyclable. Plastic bags, I think everybody probably knows that, but we can't, yeah, the plastic bags that were banned in the city, those are not single stream recyclable. The key words here are single stream. That's what the city...
You want in the garbage can?
Right, in the recycle cart.
You want them in the recycling cart?
Well, yeah, we want single stream recyclables in the recycle cart.
But you don't want the...
We don't want the bags in there, right. Bags, unfortunately, are rendered as garbage at this point.
What about wrapping our recyclables in those bags and putting it in the recyclable bin? That's how I collect mine. I put it in something.
We really prefer you don't put it in there. What that does is that will shut down. We've got the most sophisticated recycling. We opened up a $15 million.
That's something we should know.
Right. Those gum up to star wheels. We have to shut down.
That's okay, as long as we know.
Yeah, no, but it's great. I mean, there's little things. Keeping bottles on caps. People assume that you should do that. No, do that. We want you to do that.
Put the bottles in the caps. Why?
Well, A, they're recyclable, and B, there's more of a sort of a technical level. There's sophistication as far as the 3D spotting that we use to determine if that is recyclable or not.
So all containers should put the caps back on?
Plastic bottles should, spaghetti jars should, yeah,
All right.
I know that.
That's something that...
Yeah, and that's, yeah, I'll bore you to death.
What we should do is maybe you do a cheat sheet.
Well, they do.
Well,
They have a,
And
they
also-
have
How about
on
a
their
video?
toner.
A video. Do you
We
have
do,
a video
we
that you
do.
can put on the website?
We do have that, correct. We have some very...
But again, for the people who don't check the internet, we need something in hard
Correct.
copy.
Yeah.
But on the toners, they nicely, you
Yes,
have
it
a
is
thing on
listed
the
as a
toners.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Alderman Oxley. What we did is these are not stickers. These have been baked on every recycle cart. Recycle carts will be similar in blue color, but they'll have a lighter blue lid. Similar to what you
Yes.
Our lids will have an updated, again, it's not a sticker because it won't come off, but it resembles a sticker that shows best practices. Do not, sort of green light, red light stuff. You could be a Harvard grad and you still, I mean, people are very image conscious as far as, they want to see what they can and can't. So it's, it should be serve as a very good primer as far as what you can and cannot put in your recycling.
Glad to hear that.
Any other questions from the Alderman? Go ahead, Alderman.
I just want to reiterate that it went out to bid exactly the same to all the companies. Lakeshore came in the lowest price with the exact same service. Your pickup days will be exactly the same size garbage can except brand new. And the recycling bin now, instead of 65 gallon, it's going to be a 95 gallon larger recycling bin to replace all the smaller bins. And the pickup for the bulk that the Public Works goes and picks up, they're the lowest bids across the board. So it's same service, lower cost, maybe better service.
Well, listen, Republic is a first-rate company. We have great respect for them. I'm a little bit biased. I think that we're the best company out there. If you ask Mike, he would tell you the same thing. But we will certainly deliver. We'll come through. But everything you just said is true.
And you're buying us new garbage vehicles.
Are we buying you? They're about $300,000 a pop.
You're giving the city two of the machines, two of the garbage vehicles, brand new for your service, correct?
Yes. Trucks right now are about anywhere from 8 to 10 months out, depending who you're buying them from. But they're usually 8 to 10 months. But we always have spares. When I say spare, they're in extremely good condition. We don't just keep jalopies out in the yard and say, well, I'll get that. I mean, these will be in very good working order. But yes, we ordered new trucks for the city.
The main question is, what color are they?
They're blue.
All right, just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. Go ahead.
I just have one question. Are your toters squirrel proof? I have little holes in all my.
Yeah, no, unfortunately they're not. They're pretty durable, but no, if you have a squirrel or a rodent that's pretty determined, it's going to get it.
Ammonia.
Thank you, Mayor. Not really a question for Lakeshore, it's more of a statement since there was an allegation of fraud and backroom deals. You could throw one at the wall as many times as you want. It's not going to stick. There's an RFP that was sent out in April. There was a sealed bid process, so the bids weren't open. They were open in public. There was 4 companies that bid on this. 4. We had an outside CPA firm do an audit on this. They came back, they showed us the lowest benefit. I will gladly send this to anyone who wants to see it, showing the lowest benefit. So if you want to make allegations, at least have facts, because you don't. And I'm tired of hearing it. This is, enough's enough. Enough is enough. There was an RFP, there was a sealed bid process, the city went with the lowest bidder, that's what happened. Thank you.
Thank you. I just got one more question now.
Go ahead.
After Alderman Thomas.
There was no signed
Alderman.
contract. Period.
Thank you. Go ahead, Alderman.
The lady
Oh,
first.
Alderman Thompson.
Could you please instruct all of your drivers to please put the garbage can back where they found it?
And
Could you do that?
Yeah, it's notable that, and I brought some of these for anybody that wants one. I think I brought 10. I probably should have bought more. We did, as of today, we do have cart hangers that will be put on all the carts starting tomorrow as they're delivered. That will tell each resident, because we're dropping them off in the front of the house because we have to coincide with right, and those will say on one side in English. It will sort of let people know what's happening here. On the other side in Spanish. But we're always, there's issues or concerns like that. We're always take that very seriously.
One last comment, Alderman Johnson.
Yes. You guys wash them regularly, because I went behind those Chicago garbage cans. My God.
Well, we gave that option to the city, but it's another $2 million a year. No, unfortunately we can't do that. But it's a rigid plastic, so we would encourage people to.
I was talking about the truck.
Oh, the trucks. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the carts.
No, I'm not talking about the car.
Do we wash the carts?
Yeah.
The inside or the outside of the road?
The one that stinks. So is it the driver or the garbage that's in the I think it should be regulated for both.
As I told Alderman Thompson, we'll take that.
Make a mental note of that one. We have a motion. We have a second. Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Viega.
Aye.
Viega, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Fairwell.
Aye.
Fairwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson. Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos. Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. 13 ayes.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
No, I just would like to say thank you to Republic for all the many years of service that you gave to Blue Island, and thank you for coming out again. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. On behalf of all the residents of Blue Island, for those 20 years plus of service to the citizens and residents of Blue Island. Judiciary Committee, Alderman Fairwell.
Just have a kind of quick, slow but sure update progress report. As a new alderman and as the new chair of the Judiciary Committee, I was very pleased and thankful to Director Reeder and Andrea Trucco for spending a good portion of the day with me, bringing me up to speed on what will be going on in the judiciary and the things that we are needing to deal with. And we are now in the process of arranging our first meeting, which looks like probably will be July 17th, but we'll be confirming that. And the primary task that's facing the Judiciary Committee is to resume the updating of ordinances, and so we'll be getting back to that.
All right, thank you very much. Any aldermanic announcements or comments? Mr. Director, go ahead.
Yeah. I would just feel remiss on behalf of the department heads if we didn't also acknowledge Jason Berry for all that he's done. I don't have to tell you, Mayor, and the council here, and probably many of the residents here, your first 4 years here were not easy. And This group that sits over here is the group that has to try to accomplish what we can, given the parameters that, the council votes on and what we, just basically what we have to work with. I can't say enough about what a pleasure it was to work with Jason. And again, we do have a talented group, but without, I don't want to offend anybody else, but he is without question was one of our most talented department heads. His energy level, the amount of projects he got involved in that were beyond actually what his technical scope was. His go-to attitude, many of the things we sent him because we didn't quite know who to give it to. And Jason would not only not complain, he'd jump in, roll his sleeves up and say, oh, let me look into this thing. And we will miss him. We were surprised at his announcement. But again, we wish him all the best. We would never want to stay in the way of somebody doing the right thing for them and their family. We hope, in fact, I was with Jason a good part of today, as you can imagine, trying to catch up on things. And Jason is, there's no doubt in my mind, he's going to stay involved in Blue Island. He's stated he'd like to be a part of the planning commission and other things we've got going. And again, based on all of us that sit over here, I can't say enough about Jason Berry, and he's not going to be easy to replace. So I agree, Pat. He's a tough one to replace. You're absolutely right. And I was hoping he'd be here so we could all give him a little thank you.
Even though he's not here, let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you.
And yes, Jason Berry, since you're going to be seeing this later, we will miss you tremendously.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there going to be fireworks in a parade this year?
Just the fireworks on the 3rd.
What are the? I had some people asking. I'm not sure. What are the details for them?
Yes, the fireworks again dusk at Eisenhower. We got in contact with the Mad Bomber. We're all set. He said to expect a fabulous show on the 3rd of July. We've gotten in contact with Superintendent of 218. We've got the okay for use of the field, the parking lots. We got in contact with Bev Lab, Pace, Baroque Bowl. Again, as you've heard from the directive, they've been working regarding the safety with the officers, IEMA. We do have right now approximately, we need more volunteers to help us man the parking and to get the donations. So we're set on that. So whoever wants to join, in fact, I have a little memo here. Good evening, officials. A great volunteer opportunity is coming up on the 3rd of July fireworks event. It will be your point of contact if you're interested or know of anyone who's interested in volunteering to help our great city put out another wonderful fireworks display that we can all be proud of. Volunteers can assist, again, in parking, assistant, donation collector, cleanup crew. And if you can notify me or the office, please contact us and we'll be more than happy to assign positions for you. That's what I have. Any other comments?
Thank you.
Anything else? Alderman, go ahead.
I just want to thank Nancy Rita as the former chairman of the finance department. We started out 4 years ago. We were like $14 million in debt. We didn't quite know what we were going to do. All the members of the finance committee worked very hard to develop a budget for us, get us out of debt. They worked on the Jewel property, finding, along with community development. I don't want to slight community development either, but finding a taker for the Jewel property, rebuilding the bridges, starting up the new business district, opening up the rec center. They've done a fabulous job of finding the money that we needed when we needed it. So thank you to the former committee, and I appreciate everything you've done. And also, my committee, the FOP golf outing I mentioned is July 21st. So if you want to sponsor a hole, if you want to go golfing, if you just want to buy raffle tickets, all of those options are still available. And also the firefighters are going to be having their fundraising baseball night at the Standard Bank Stadium in August. I can't remember the exact date, but that's coming up also.
Anybody else? Alderman, go ahead.
Yes, Mayor, is there anything in place for our first responders, like, say for instance, they want to buy a home in Blue Island and stay close. Is there any kind of like discounts or any kind of help?
Like an incentive?
Yes, sir.
That we have to talk to our legal department, whether we can do that and whether there is anything, or we have to think up of some creative idea, whether we can do it.
I heard there's the Alderman Dexter Johnson Fund.
Yeah. Thank you.
But we can look into that.
Okay. I've been working with the Red Cross for probably the last 15 years, and they got a grant or a fund out for the families that's less fortunate to give them free smoke detectors and things. And once I get that direct person, Director Rita and Chief Clinker, I'll definitely hand that ball to you for the handle. And I'd like to thank Director Bob Jackson. Man, they look alike. For Bob Jackson purchasing some mulch for the rec center out of his own pocket and actually dispersing it around. And the rec center looks pretty good. And thanks for the Park District too to come down and doing a great job of cutting the grass and things of that nature. But I have a safety issue. 2850 West 141st Place. The grass, I'm not that tall a guy, but the grass is taller than the bed of my pickup truck. And it's right at the stop sign. You have to actually go into the street. That property is owned by that homeowner, but they will not cut the grass for whatever reason. But it's a safety issue because the people have to drive actually into the street and you cannot see what's coming on.
So this is 2858, what other street?
West 141st Place.
Got it.
Even if they don't cut the yard, they'll at least clear it out to where it's not a safety. You can't see the kids coming down the sidewalk or the vehicles coming down the street.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I may be the newest alderman, but I'm the oldest plan commissioner, and as such, I probably worked with Jason Berry as long as anybody here. And I just want to say to Jason, thank you so much. You've taught me so much. You've left a real legacy for the community. And I think that, we'll miss Jason tremendously, but I know that a number of people have been inspired by his commitment to the community, and his work will be carried on by all of us. So thank you, Jason.
My gut feeling is that he's going to be more involved now than he was even as an employee, or he'll have the time now to do it.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Uniting the motion for adjournment. Motion by Alderman Pittman, second by Alderman Rita. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Good night, everyone.